Welcome to the Roll20 Charactermancer tutorial. I'm Eric Novick. I'm part of the Atypical Games, and this will be a video for the West Marches of Muldoona. Partially for that, partially for my players, and it's partially to actually teach you how to use the Charactermancer. The West Marches of Muldoona is a game that I'll be running starting this Thursday. That's in 3 days. And this is for my players so that they can learn how to build their characters. A lot of you just have. I just add a handout. Or is that a character? What the? What is this? Whatever. Delete it. All right. Anyway. What the heck? Unable to edit? What the butts? All right, well, this was unexpected, but that doesn't matter. We're here to go over the Charactermancer, this new character creation tool that has a lot of things that it could be doing better. And a lot of people have been confused, and so I wanted to clear up a lot of that. We'll only be going over things from the player's handbook for my players. You have a link in the Discord that you can look in the general channel and in the character creation channel. For the rest of you, I'm sure you can find a copy of the player's handbook. It's not too difficult. We are doing 5th edition, as that's what this is all for. They're really going into 5th edition. They really like it. So, start. The first thing you do is click that button. Then it goes to your race. Now, for this, we'll just be going over races in the player's handbook, because if you already know the other races, then you probably already know how to make a character, and this video isn't for you. Anyway, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 races. Wow. There are 9 races in D&D. Yeah, we'll go a bit into them. They start on page 20 of the player's handbook with the dwarf, but here they are alphabetical, so they start with the Dragonborn. And the Dragonborn are strong, scaly, charming, and they have 10 sub-races, and each pertaining to a different color, and each color gives you a different breath weapon, like an elemental attack, and then a resistance to that same element. Obviously, red is fire, but so is gold, and I think bronze are also fire. White is cold. Blue is lightning. You get the idea. Next, we have dwarves. They are resilient against poison and really good with tools and can see in the dark. Now, something I need to show you about dwarves, and also elves and gnomes and humans. They have one significant flaw. This part only has 1 subrace. But in the game, their subraces are not all... Like, dwarves, for instance, actually have 2 subraces in the player's handbook. There's the hill dwarf, which is here, and then there's the mountain dwarf. Now, hill dwarves are wise and tough. They have extra hit points. The mountain dwarves are strong and are naturally able to use heavier armor with no training. Another thing I'd like to point out, make sure your age has any value in it, because the Charactermancer is very finicky, and if you don't, it won't let you make your character. Same with alignment. You must have an alignment. For my players, though, I do not care what your alignment is, because it's never going to come up, because there are no rules for alignment other than in character creation. It's pretty dumb. Now I'm just going to fill out all the boxes that it asks me to fill out, because I don't want to have to come back. And we're just gonna, oh wait, we're not. We have to go through the others. So that's dwarf. That's a dwarf. Elves, they are flighty, perceptive. They never need to sleep. They have this trance ability, and they can see in the dark. Now, like the dwarves, there's only one subrace. However, in the player's handbook, there are 3. High elves are smart, and they know a spell and a language, I guess. There are wood elves that are fast and sneaky, and there are dark elves, which are charming, really good with magic. They can see really well in the dark, but they also can't see as well in the light. They have disadvantage. Now, disadvantage just means you roll the d20 twice and take the lower value. Advantage means you take it the higher value. That's all that means. Here is the gnome. Gnomes are smart. They can also see in the dark, and they have a resilience against magic. They get advantage on their saving throws, at least with the personality-based stats, the mental stats. They also have 2 subraces, though only the rock gnome is available on this. Feel free to choose either. It's easier if you choose the one that's there, but it's not that much more difficult to create a different one. Like, there is custom, and then you just plug in the values that you would need to put in. Speed, it'll be there. Language proficiencies, skills if they have them, weapons if they have them, armor if they have them. Proficiencies, this means you can use them. Any tools, any custom stuff. And then any traits that they might have, and spellcasting. I trust that you'll be able to do this. It's not particularly difficult, but it is annoying. I want to let you know that. Anyway, gnomes have 2 variants, the rock gnome and the forest gnome. Rock gnomes can tinker and know stuff about magic. They're very knowledgeable. And then the forest gnomes can talk to animals, and they can cast illusions. Pretty nice. Here is the half-elf. That's what's next. Half-elves are charming and skilled and can see in the dark. They are half human and half elf, though that might not be true for your character if you want to do something a bit different. Maybe they're their own thing that you just use the halfling, half-elf stats for, or maybe they have something else. Who knows? We can talk about it. They don't have a subrace. Yeah, you go to the bottom. They don't have a subrace. They can see in the dark, and they are Fae. Then there's the half-orc. Half-orcs are very strong. They're menacing, they're resilient, and they can see in the dark. They also have no subrace. They're half-orc, half-human. But like with the half-elves, if you want to do a half something else, talk to me about it. It could be fun. It could be interesting. Also, something I have not pointed out. These are your ability scores. Right now, only the bonuses that the half-orc has show up, because right now you have a score of nothing. That'll happen at this point. We'll talk about it later. But these are the bonuses. All races have bonuses. None of them have penalties, which is a new thing in 5th edition. I like it because it doesn't penalize you for picking something. Thus, no penalties. The next race is the Halfling. They are lucky, brave, and nimble. They are also small, like the Gnomes. I forgot to mention that. Size is a thing, but it doesn't come up often. Though Gnomes and Halflings are small. Dwarves are not. Dwarves are medium-sized, like humans and elves. Anyway, they have 2 sub-races. One of them is here, the Lightfoot Halfling. Lightfoots are charming and stealthy. And then there's Stout, which are hearty and resilient to poison. The next race we have is the Human. Now, if you'll notice, why didn't it do it? Standard Human. Humans get a bonus to everything, unless you play the variant. Humans are, this is their thing. They get a +1 to all stats. I think that's it. Speed, language, that kind of stuff. There's also the variant human, which is not here. The variant human gets +1 to 2 stats. They get an extra skill and a feat. Now, this is the only race that gets a feat at level 1. The rest get them at 4 if you choose not to get an ability score increase, but we'll talk about that later. I'll do another tutorial about leveling up once someone gets to that point. And then lastly, there's the Tiefling. Now, Tieflings are smart, charming, literal spawn of hell beasts, and can see in the dark. In canon, Tiefling are demon spawn. In my normal setting, what I have is they are part of a fallen empire that made a pact with a demon for power. They broke the bargain, and then they got punished and got turned into partial demons. They are former humans. Now, in this game, the West Marches, I am going to be a lot more lenient about it. If you want your Tiefling to be literally from hell, sure. I'm not sure how that's going to make sense, but if you want to do it, we can do that. They might be just humans with a curse or a demonic bond. We can figure this out. I'm into reskinning what they do. Tieflings also have subraces, but the Tiefling subraces are in a different book. If you want to go find it, go for it. I think it's in Mordenkainen's Tomb of Foes. But I really don't think there's much of an advantage to any of them. I think this one makes perfect sense. And this is the only one in the player's handbook. But yeah, feel free to look at the other ones. Feel free to choose the other ones. But I am not going to provide resources in this video. Maybe another video. Like I said, remember, pick an age. Does not matter what it is. Just make sure it makes sense. Maybe read the section in the player's handbook that tells you how old they can be. And then alignment, again, just put anything in there. Anything at all. Next, you click this button. We already did that. And then we get to pick our class. I'll go over them pretty short. I don't want to do... It's all pretty clear. Well, I think it's clear, but I've also been playing since I was 12. Holy shit, that's almost half my life. Um, anyway, there are 12 classes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 classes. There are 2 other classes in other books, but and then there's also the Ranger, who has 2 versions. We'll get into that later. Anyway, the Barbarians are angry warriors of the wilderness that fight with fury in battle to give them an edge. I don't know why it's not loading. This is annoying. I'm connected to the internet. Well, that's awkward. Um, anyway, you can read these descriptions. I'm just going to give you a short thing anyway. Bards, they weave art into their magic or magic into their art. Their presence can call forth strength in their allies. Clerics are priests that can call on the aid of their gods in their time of need, and they fight with spells and weapons. Druids are mages that draw on the power of nature. They can command mighty natural forces and can change their shape if they need to. Fighters fight, sometimes with the aid of spells, others with impressive maneuvers, and some are just really good at fighting. Monks are unarmored martial artists with a knack for honing their bodies. Paladins are divine warriors who uphold their code and smite their foes. Rangers are warriors of nature who know the land better than any. Rogues are sneaks, thieves, and assassins. These stealthy warriors are better at stabbing you in the back than from the front. Sorcerers are charming mages that weave magic at their whim. Warlocks make pacts and strike deals with otherworldly creatures for power. And wizards are studious mages who specialize in fields of magic. Now, I think it's pretty clear the difference between the different martial classes, like rogue, ranger, paladin, monk, fighter, barbarian. Um, Barbarians hulk out. Fighters are skilled. Monks are skilled in a different way. Paladins use divine power. Rangers know nature, and rogues know how to trick you. But what isn't so clear is oh, good, it's doing the thing again. So it's not showing me anything because, of course, it's not. And now I'm locked out of the next box. Great. Well, that's annoying. That's very annoying. Okay, I'm not locked out. But the difference between druids, clerics, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards might not be so obvious, I guess. Clerics have a domain that they get special abilities from. That domain is particular to their god. They get spells, they get special abilities. They're good against the undead. Druids. Druids. Yes, sir. Druids. I don't know their stuff off the top of my head. They're definitely they're a divine. These two are divine casters, cleric and druid. Yeah, I'm having trouble coming up with what makes them different than wizards and stuff. Sorcerers have a bloodline that they get power from. In the player's handbook, there's the draconic bloodline and the wild bloodline. There are a few others elsewhere. And that bloodline informs what kind of abilities they have. And they also can shape magic to better fit their whims. They've got meta magic abilities that they can pick from and sorcerer points that they spend to use those meta magic abilities. So if you want to customize your spells a bit, they're pretty cool. Warlocks strike pacts with demons and fae and Cthulhu beasts. They're fun. Yeah, they get pack magic and they get stuff from their patron. Though every now and then their patron might show up and say, "Hey, I need you to do this thing for me." So that can be very interesting. And then wizards are, the classic studying, well-educated mage, in their high tower, and they pick a specialization, and from that specialization, they get special powers. Like the illusionist can do special things with illusion magic. Go figure. Um, sometimes they get free spells. Sometimes they get to use their magic without material components. We'll get to that. I actually think, where's the cursor? I'm going to pick a sorcerer so I can showcase that. I know it didn't take any time at all. Good, that was fun. At first level, you get your maximum hit points, and you get skill proficiencies. So you pick, Arcana if you want to know about the arcane arts. Pick religion if you want to know about religious stuff. Pick Arcana and Persuasion for now. And then here's your origin focus. Of course, they only have a couple. I'm sure it's the same with wizards. You can pick, just like the Dragonborn, you get 10 different choices. We'll just go with fire because that makes sense. We're just going to move on. Now for the ability scores. Now there are a couple of ways, mainly 2 ways to assign ability scores. Oops. But you will choose custom because that's the only one here. Now the main 2 ways are rolling for it or picking. We'll go over rolling first. You do is you go to the chat if you want, or we can go to a dice bag. I go to the 5th edition d20srd.org/extras/dice bag. There's a nice random dice thing. It's taking a bit to load, but it's got d4s, got d6s, got d8s, d10s, 12s, 20s, and 100s. To roll for your stats, you can just put a 4, click the die, and then there's your stat. However, when you roll 4 dice, and you take away the lowest. So there's a 2. We take the 2 away. That makes it a 13. You can also do that here if you want to, but that might clog up the chat. But if multiple people are doing it at the same time, what you do is /R. You roll 4d6. That is explained here. It's not that difficult. You press enter, and it'll roll. And look, we got a 13, but we subtract 2 because that's the lowest. And then we got an 11. So you do that. And you can just press up to get what you just rolled back. And then it'll roll the dice again. Do that 6 times. And I actually prefer to have you do it a 7th time. Because you know how you roll 4, take away the lowest. What if, that's a 9. That's not very good. I don't want you to have a 9. 13's much better, especially because that 9 becomes an 8. So I want you to roll 7 times. Each time you roll, take away the lowest number. And take away the lowest total result. So for this character, we have an 11, a 15, that's a 12, that's an 8, that is a 16, That is a 12. And we get to replace this 8, another 12. Then you can rearrange them. So if you want higher dexterity, then you just move this up. You move this down back to what the other one was. You can pick your stats from what you roll. Now, the other way to do that is explained on page 13 in the variant rules. You get 27 points, and there is a chart that tells you what you can choose. Now, I believe the highest you can go is 15, and the lowest you can go is 8. And that's without adding your racial bonuses, which I don't want you to add here, because as you see, let's see, intelligence here is 12. Here it's 13 because we got a +1. And charisma here is 12, but here it's 14 because we have a +2. Don't add your racial bonuses here. It automatically does it. And like I was saying, when you pick your stats, the highest you can go is 15, which costs you 9 points, which means you can have 3 15s and 3 8s, and that is the highest stats you can have. You'll probably want to balance because 8 is a -1 and 15 is only a +2, which means overall you'll have +3 in all your stats. I mean, not all your +3 overall. You get to pick that. Make sure to look at the chart because a 9 costs. The difference between a 9 and a 10 is different between 15 and 14. So make sure to read that. That's on page 13 at the bottom left side. But I'm pretty happy with these stats. We rolled them up. You probably remember that. We'll go to the background. Now, backgrounds are cool because they are like an extra class. There are, I think, 10 backgrounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 backgrounds. But, like with everything, they only put one here. So we're going to look at the Acolyte to show you what they give you so you don't miss out. So for the Acolyte, you get 2 languages. It doesn't matter what they are. And then you get a special ability. This, it's Shelter the Faithful, which means you can get people that share the same faith as you to help you out, as long as it's not like super bad for them. And I'll go a bit into all of them because, yeah, you also get personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, and some equipment from each of them in addition to what you already get. Like you get a holy symbol, some incense. My connection has been interrupted. Why has my connection been interrupted? God damn it. God damn it. Well, that probably won't change anything. I wish I could get rid of this. There is a... Oh, cool. So here they have the list of what they are. You know, I quote or misquote sacred texts and proverbs in almost every situation. I think that can be pretty funny. So for this one, they have everything written out. That's pretty nice of them. The problem is they only wrote them out in this one. Now, backgrounds can be found on page 127, starting with the Acolyte. But there are several more. There's the charlatan, who are deceptive and sneaky, and they have a false identity. They're cons and cheats, and they're good at creating falsehoods. Criminals are deceptive and stealthy and have criminal contacts. They are thieves and gamblers. And obviously, we can talk about what your background is and like how it applies and what flavor of whatever background you are, if you're still that, if you changed. This doesn't mean your character is a bad person if they're a criminal, and it doesn't mean that they're a good person if they're an acolyte. Like, who knows? It just adds to the mix, which I really like. Entertainers, they're acrobats and performers who can disguise themselves and play music. They can always find a place to stay in exchange for performing. Folk heroes are rustic and capable people who have done great deeds. They can always find a shield from tyranny from among the common folk. Guild artisans are persuasive, insightful craftspeople, and they are guild members, and they can find support from their fellows when needed. Hermits are trained in medicine and scripture. They hold a secret that others desire for power and safety. Now this one is one of the more nebulous abilities. It basically says you know something about the world that others don't, and you have discovered this thing. And you and I are going to have to talk. You, the player, and I, the DM, are going to have to talk about what that is and what it means for the rest of the world. I think this is a pretty good one to be like, oh, I want to go out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. This in Criminal, I really like. Being like people who join the Phoenix Guard. I should probably talk about that at some point. But whatever. What's next? Nobles are wealthy and powerful, knowledgeable and charming, and they carry a noble title and can find an audience with others in power. There is a variant of the noble called the knight. They instead get 3 retainers. So it's just 3 non-player characters who follow you around and help you. They are not combatants. They are peasants. One might be a messenger or your squire. There's probably a major domo. Like people who take care of your stuff for you. Next is the sage. They are knowledgeable and intelligent, and they are good at research. Sailors are sailors. They can always find passage. So that actually isn't going to be very useful. There's not going to be a lot of boat people. But there is an alternative called the pirate, which gives you a bad reputation, which you can take advantage. That one I actually think would work well too, kind of like the criminal. You're so infamous that people know that you're trouble and you can get away with minor crimes with no hassle, which is very nice. And also doesn't actually have a nautical theme, which is cool. You don't have to be a literal pirate. You can be whatever you want. Soldiers are soldiers, and they have an official rank within the military. And then urchins are stealthy and resourceful thieves who grew up on the streets. If you're an urchin, we can talk about whether you're from the city, trying to make it big in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, or if you were born here and joined the Phoenix Guard to protect your home. That would be kind of cool. We'll show you a bit. So you get skill proficiencies. You get 2. And as you can see, Arcana and Persuasion are not available among them because I've already picked that. Which I actually find kind of annoying, but I think it should be background, then class skills, but whatever. But let's say we pick medicine and we pick, sleight of hand. Now, normally you wouldn't be able to just pick whatever you want. I'd really like you to follow what they have in the player's handbook, but we can make some exceptions if you think it would make more sense. Tool proficiencies. Bagpipes, cool. Each background gets 2 of either tool proficiencies or languages, or a mix thereof. Like you might have carpenter's tools and no Elvish. Who knows? And then you have your background feature. Like I said, each one has a special feature. Like hermits get their special secret. Guild artisans get protection from the guild. Folk heroes get protection from the common folk. Nobles have a title, that kind of stuff. And then personality, ideals, bonds, and flaws. You can roll for them. They're all in the player's handbook, but not here, which is super annoying. I'm just going to go with the Acolyte because I don't want to be bothered to make this stuff up. We're just going to roll for all of it. You find common ground between friends, the fiercest enemies, empathizing them, and always working towards peace. Oh, that's cool. I enjoy fine food and drink, high society among the temple's elite. Rough living grates on me. Oh, I feel bad for you. Because Muldoona is a shithole, and the barracks are the shittiest building. We must help bring the change. The gods are constantly working in the world. Cool. I owe my life to a priest who took me in when my parents died. And a flaw. Piety sometimes leads me to blindly trust those that profess my faith in my God. That's cool. So I should probably talk about this. Normally, these are for role playing, and also, if you exemplify one of your traits, you get inspiration, which means I think you get to add a d6, or maybe you get to reroll. I forget exactly, but it gives you a bonus to a roll. I can look that up quickly. Inspiration and d5. Huh, looks like my whole internet's going wonky. Well, we'll wait for that. Maybe we'll look at it later. That's normally what this is for. That's hard on the Dungeon Master to remember, because there are, look, 5. And there are going to be 4 of you at any given time. That's tough. That's really tough. Oh, yeah, you gain advantage. You essentially get a token, and then you give me the token back when you use it. Yeah. It's a bit different for bards. Bards can give you inspiration that does something else. It gives you a bonus to your roll, which is nice. But yeah, I've decided instead, when you take a short rest, one of the players who spends a hit die healing will have a scene. They'll make a scene. They'll say, this other character should be in the scene with me. And then they'll act it out. And then the other players and the DM will be like, okay, I think that was worth inspiration. And then you can get inspiration because you'll be, you'll be resting several times per session, I think. Possibly, who knows? I think this is like a good enough time. You'll be doing it often enough that it makes sense. And that way I don't have to constantly be looking at your stuff, because I'm never going to remember this. Like, there's no way. I don't even remember the character I just made, other than like they like fine food and drink. But I can look at that one right now, and I have the hiccups now. Anyway, that's my tangent. And then yeah, you get equipment. Then we go on to equipment section. Now, the equipment is based on your class and your background. You've already gotten the background equipment, but you can, look at other stuff. Oh man, I should probably do the custom background then. I'll show you. Oh yeah, so this is what it would look like. We'll go back, do a custom background to show you what that will look like. background is pickle. They get athletics and medicine and bagpipes, and they can speak goblin. And then they have farts. They fart a lot. That's their special power. And then there's justice. And they hate pickles. And then, I guess they get nothing from their background, but we can show you what it'll look like later. Oh, I have to do it again. God damn it. Whatever. This does not matter. We're just making up a random character. But yeah, sorcerers, they get to pick between weapon. They get one. What's it called? There's more simple weapons. So let's say a mace, and they get a component pouch or an arcane focus. Let's give them a component pouch, and then they get a pack. Let's just go with explorer's pack. Now packs are kind of like your background stuff. You get some extra things out of them, but it's not going to tell you for a while. Now equipment starts on page 144. I probably should have said that. And like I said, if you didn't pick Acolyte, you'll do it manually after you finish your character. There is a table for rolling for your gold and picking your own equipment instead of taking the standard class equipment. I don't recommend it because you can end up with you can end up with no money, and then you have no equipment. Yeah, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. We're just going to go into magic. Now, magic's real easy to do in this because it just tells you what all your spells are. So, bloodline cantrips. The cantrips are 0-level spells, essentially. You can cast them as many times as you want. Let's look at Firebolt. That's an attack spell. That makes sense. When you choose a spell, it'll show up its name, what level, what type of magic it is, what school, and then all the vital information, like the casting time, how far it can go, what you need. So verbal and somatic. Verbal means you need to be able to speak. Somatic means you need to be able to use your hands. The duration, this one's instantaneous, and these are the classes that can use it. That's new. And this is what it does. So this one, you make an attack roll, and then you deal some fire damage to them. And then objects can only ignite if they're not being carried or worn. Yeah, magic's super easy in the Charactermancer. That's the one thing I really like about it. Let's find another one. Okay, cool. So, the components material. Material means you need to have this thing. Now, most of the time, it's going to be, nothing too weird, nothing too specific that you'll need. Like 2 lodestones. Sure, you just have 2 lodestones. But there are higher level spells where they cost money. They're like, 100 gold worth of diamonds. I think that's a spell. That's a 2nd level spell, I think. Yeah, we'll do that later. Yeah, there's some spells that don't cost material components, some that do, some that aren't verbal. Like, yeah, a bit of fleece. We're not going to make you track how much fleece you have. That's silly. But let's look at Charm Person. What do you need for that? Nothing. Okay. Featherfall. Piece of feather. Yeah, you can probably just have a piece of feather. Okay, so like lower levels, it really doesn't matter. Material components. Because it's just like not worth tracking. Like, why track how much fleece you have, or if you have a glowworm? It's fun. It's like, oh yeah, this adds a little bit to this cool thing, but it adds a bit to the world, but I don't really care. Now, if you're not part of the Molduna campaign, talk to your DM about this, because some DMs are super into tracking this. And in some campaigns, it makes a lot of sense. Like if your campaign's all about survival, but you got your druid who can cast, create food and water, or Goodberry. That takes away from the having to hunt for your dinner. All right. Those are spells. You pick them pretty easily. Then you move on to feats. Now at level 1, no one will have feats unless you're a variant human. In which case you'll pick 1. And I can't believe I didn't write down where feats are. They're just after equipment. Gosh darn it. Let me pull up the PDF on my other screen real quick. I hope. Nope, it's taken forever. Anyway, feats, you pick 1. That's it. And it's a special ability, sometimes a set of special abilities. Talk to me about it. But for most of you, you're just going to pick next. Also, if you're a variant human, you'll want to pick another skill. We'll get to that later. Now we get to review our character. Now you'll notice all this stuff. If you didn't fill out any of these, like one of these things, this would not appear. You would not have this button. You would have to go back and change it. And that's super annoying. So please make sure to fill everything out. And then we apply the changes. That does it. Adds to your character. Bedut. Chakran. Cool. This is taking a while. Yeah, once you do that, you do some last adjustments. Like if you have feats or if you have equipment from your background that isn't an acolyte. If you're not an acolyte, you need to add your feats, your equipment, and I guess special abilities already been done. Wow, this is taking a while. And I will show you where. Oh, feats are on page 165. I did write it down. I'm great. Cool. I just didn't write it down in the right spot. Like I said, 165. That's where they start. And we still got 13 left to go. Yeah, so that's been the Charactermancer. I like what it will become. I don't like what it is. Because what it is a half-assed character creation tool that confuses more people than it helps. It just added 8 changes to make. What? Okay, weird. I'm sure once they finish it, it'll be great and I will love it. But right now it's annoying because I had to make, a tutorial so that people could learn it. But yeah, you see we have our damaging spells here. If we look at our spells, the descriptions are right there. Like I click on it, or you can open it, and it'll just tell you what the spell does. It's so great. I have made so many characters, like NPCs for other campaigns, and had to type out the spells by hand. And oh my god, has that been annoying. Now, the problem I see is that you've got to do it for all the other spells. Like, you add a spell, it's not there. Like, actually, let's try something. Is oh no, you gotta do it by yourself. In Stars Without Number, what they did was they have like the class text box, and when you um, write down what your class is, it just gives you the ability in writing in the space where that goes, which is super nice. And that'd be cool if they did that here. They also have drop down boxes for the feats that they have. Having all this stuff written up beforehand would be really helpful, because it's a pain in the ass to have to do it by hand every single time. For the DM, that can take a lot of time away from me. Like I might spend a couple hours building the boss because, not even because it's that complex, just because that's how much work there is to do. And if they just did the work for me, obviously I understand that this is a free tool, but they are making money. And I would recommend this way more if it did a lot of the work for me. Like if I could just add the spell super easily, that would be so nice. It'd be so nice. I would love that. Um, yeah. Also, there's a bio section for any notes you want. Equipment. Right. So this is where you put your equipment from your class. Not from your class. That's already done. This is where you put your equipment from your background. Now, this already has all the background equipment, but if you didn't have that, you would want that. You would put that here. You just press the plus button. Here's a space. Yeah. So that's that. And if you were human, you just click another skill. Doesn't matter what it is. You just get it. That's that. That's everything. Something's wrong with the hit points. But I don't want to look into that. I should probably look into that. Warlock. I'm gonna do it on this screen. Warlock. Wait, that's not gonna come up with what I want it to come up with it. Warlock 5E. Why is my internet being so slow? Look at my tabs open. Oh, it's probably because I'm on Hangout. That's probably why. That's annoying as hell. Oh fuck, it's a sorcerer. Whatever. Something's wrong with this. Look at the hit die of your. Oh, you can look here. That's a D6. For some reason, we have one extra hit point. Because it should be a D6 plus 1 from the Constitution bonus. But it's a D6 plus 2. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's wrong with this. Oh, it might be something here. Might be a draconic bloodline thing. What? What? It just doesn't. That's so annoying. Like, this one just tells you what it does, and this one doesn't. What the actual heck? That's another problem I have with this. That's another problem. Sometimes it has it fully written out, and sometimes it doesn't. They couldn't have waited. I mean, like, I'm really glad that they built it at all, but I wish they had made the full thing and not half-assed it. You don't half-ass two things. You got a whole-ass one thing. Ron Swanson, 2013 or something. I don't know. Anyway, one final thing you'll notice if you're one of my players is after you've finished your character, and tell me that you finished your character. Yeah. You'll get a rumor and, something about the world that maybe you're interested in and maybe someone else is interested in and maybe no one is interested in it. Who knows? Whom's to say? But you'll have a rumor and it'll be fun for me and hopefully you as well. Yeah. That's where you mark where you have experience. And that's Bedut Churchill. Also, something I'd like you to do is pick a token. I'll show you how to do that. I think you have access to this. These are my clocks. That's fun. Oh, this is from my other game. Interesting. There's Dude 1. There's Gangster. There's Odd Doc. Rollbot. Silver Agent. Argent. Phoenix Rep. Phoenix Rep 2. The map. And then all my clocks for tracking stuff. Fun, fun, fun. I like it. Oop. Can't show you that. Let's look. Pickle. All right, nothing for pickle. So you'll want an avatar. Oh, from the web. Cool. Let's just put this down. What the fuck? I'm going to assume it's because my internet's being slow. Anyway, so what you'll do is you'll go here. You should be able to see these. Whatever. Hold on. Weird. Super weird. Okay, anyway. What is a good idea is you represent character and then you pick your character. This is Tazka. Click the show your nameplate because normally it doesn't. You write down what name you want to be used. It's controlled by the character or the player who has control of the character. What does that do? Oh, whoa, that's cool. You can change the color of your thing. No. Oh no. Can I go back? No, I can't go back. Ah, no tint. There we go. Oh, I can just do it here. Cool. So it's alphabetical order. So if you've created a character and it's not starting with the same name as your name, things will happen. And then you can pick like stuff that they get. Like or like the stuff that you want to show. Green makes sense for HP. You just press H a couple times. And there you go, HP. Then you can pick other stuff, like age if you want to. Or constitution bonus. Why are there so many things here? But you can just like pick other things, like, oh, sorcerer points. Where are the sorcerer points? What? Anyway, you can like customize stuff, put it here. Show it off. Where is it? I just have the wrong name. Yeah, you know, you just pick your character. Sorcery points. Yeah. Oh, at class resource name. Wonder how I can change that. Ooh, probably here. Maybe not. Nope, I guess not. Weird. I don't like that. Maybe we can change it here. Under C. Class resource. Anyway, you can change this. Add +5 or -11. It'll change appropriately, which is super helpful. What are you doing? I want to know how to change this. Other resource name? Other resource? What's this one? Repeating resource left. Okay, yeah, so you can just figure that out if you want to. I guess you can't have more than 4, but you also can only have 3 bars anyway. Yeah, class resource. Then other resource. And I bet if I give them values, 5, 5, that it will change. Yeah, now we have 3 bars. That's pretty cool. I really like that. I encourage you to use these tokens. Pick a token. Adam, I picked a token for you because I couldn't find a turtle. So I picked a turtle. I like it. Anyway, that's the Charactermancer. I went on a bit of a ramble, and yeah. How do I turn off the recording feature? Goodbye.